There is one mind that all people share. Really, there is only one mind and two areas of action inside it. Your conscious mind is the part of your mind that decides, breaks things down, studies, researches, looks into things, comes to conclusions, and makes choices. You pick out your books, your house, and your life partner, among other things. Your aware mind is responsible for all of your choices. On the other hand, your heart keeps beating even if you don't do anything. Digestion, circulation, and breathing are all controlled by your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind doesn't think things through like your conscious mind does. It just accepts what you tell it or what you believe. Because it only thinks in one direction, your subconscious mind doesn't argue with you in a contentious way. Your subconscious mind is like dirt. It can grow any seed, good or bad. Your ideas and thoughts are alive and growing, like seeds. Your subconscious mind is still working on negative and harmful thoughts, and eventually those thoughts will show up in the outside world in the same way they did in your subconscious mind. Remember that your subconscious mind doesn't check to see if your thoughts are good or bad, true or false. Instead, it reacts based on the nature of your thoughts or ideas. Suppose you consciously believe something to be true, even if it turns out to be fake. Your subconscious mind will accept it as true and start to do what it has to do because you consciously believed it to be true. The subconscious mind can't argue. In other words, if you give it bad ideas, it will take them as true and act on them as conditions, experiences, and events. Your subjective mind is another name for your subconscious mind. Your subjective mind knows about the world around you in ways that are not related to your five senses. You feel things and remember things in your subjective mind, which you access through intuition. When your aware mind or objective senses are not active, your subjective mind is free to do its job. In short, your subjective mind is the smart part of you that shows up when your objective mind is asleep or not working. People with clairvoyance and clairaudience have subjective minds that can see and hear without using their normal eyes or ears. Your subjective mind can leave your body, go to faraway places, and often bring back information that is completely accurate and true. You can see what other people are thinking and read what's inside sealed packages and locked safes through your subjective mind. Your subjective mind can understand what other people are thinking, even if you don't use normal objective ways to talk to them. If we want to learn the real art of prayer, we need to understand how our objective and emotional minds work together. When both your conscious mind and subconscious mind work together in unity and peace, you experience health, happiness, joy, and harmony. All the bad things in the world, like pain, suffering, war, crime, and illness, are caused by the way your conscious and subconscious minds don't work together well. Remember that your subconscious mind doesn't care about you or what you think. The Bible says that the husband is the wife's boss. Your conscious mind is the husband, and your subconscious mind is the wife. From a physical point of view, this is not true. It is only true in your mind. Your conscious mind runs your subconscious mind. It can be influenced by suggestions, and you would if your house were sold. Everything you do is in your mind or in your ideas. The way you think will then bring about the effects. Bring up the feeling you'll have if you succeed at what you want, and that feeling will bring it to you. Someone young wanted to go to a certain college, but they didn't let him. I said, "You understand this law of reverse transformation. How would you feel if you were accepted now? How would you feel if you went to that man who rejected you and he said, 'Well, we've changed our minds, we've reviewed your qualifications and we'll accept you'?" He replied, "I'd feel happy, I'd call my father, I'd feel wonderful." "Well," I added, "when you go to sleep at night, Think of me congratulating you on your acceptance and your wonderful success in college. Imagine also talking to your father and telling him that you've been accepted. Go in there in your own mind and hear that man who rejected you telling you, "You've been accepted. That's wonderful." You can imagine that feeling. The young man did what I told him to do and was accepted. Assuming and holding on to the feeling of a prayer answered should make the answer to your prayer real. In this way, Romans 4:17 means to call things that are not as though they were. If a physical fact can cause a mental state, then a mental state can cause a physical fact. That's what all the things you ask for and believe you already have and will receive mean. Now, how can you believe it? The thing you want is just an idea, right? You have a picture of it in your mind. You believe in the law of growth, which says that if you hold on to a seed and water it over and over, it will grow. So you accept the mental picture, make it more real, and make yourself happy with it. Philosophy has been around for 6,000 years, but it hasn't been able to search the deepest parts of your soul. In its experiments, there has always been a residue that it hasn't been able to resolve. Man is a stream whose source is hidden. Sages and thinkers don't have all the answers. Your mind, or consciousness, is made up of all of your subjective and objective thoughts and feelings. Thoughts come through the mind, which is made up of feelings, some good and some not so good. Your mind is a conduit for all kinds of feelings, and it should only be open to thoughts that uplift, bless, and honor your soul. Ideas teach us and make us feel things. In the world, there is a lot of pain because many people believe things that are not true. There has to be a way for these false thoughts and feelings that are stuck in the subconscious to get out. If the feelings and thoughts are bad, they need to come out in a bad way. Britton Watt, a mechanic, saw steam coming out of the pan while his mother was making tea. What would happen if I were to harness the tremendous force of the steam? He asked himself as he watched the steam push the lid of the pot. He had only one thought. He began to think about it from all sides. The thought of putting steam in a cylinder with a piston came from his subconscious. When it grew, it pushed the piston back, which turned the wheels. That was the start of the steam engine, which changed the way things were made all over the world. When people say that something can't be done because it's never been done before, keep in mind that the bumblebee can't fly because its wings are too short and it weighs too much. But the bumblebee doesn't know what the textbook says. It decides to fly anyway. When someone says something can't be done, the man who knows how powerful his mind is, his best friend, tells him it can be done. He can talk to his friend, the subconscious, and it responds and really does what he wants. Someone sent me a newspaper article of an unknown Mexican man who was poor and hoped to be rich because he wanted to do things but couldn't afford them. It was written that he went to pray to the Virgin of Guadalupe in a dream, and she told him to buy Mexican lottery ticket 37281. In Texas, he called his nephew and asked him to find the ticket number. The nephew did so and found ticket 37281. He then used his uncle's money to buy the package of tickets. In Mexico, $3 million is a lot of money. The uncle won it. The story says that the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, went to see the man's nephew and told him he owed them $100,000 because he bought the ticket in the United States. The nephew went to tax court to fight the case. The story says that the judge said this man got an answer to his prayer from the Virgin of Guadalupe and that the ticket was bought for him, so the IRS doesn't get anything. That's the friend, the man's subconscious mind, who gave him $3 million because he thought the Virgin of Guadalupe would answer him. You have the same friend inside you. Its ways can't be figured out. The Virgin is, of course, the I am inside you, your own subconscious mind, which can have an endless number of ideas. She is God's presence in your life. She is called the Virgin Mary in the Bible. The word Mary comes from the Latin word for sea, so it has nothing to do with a woman, a virgin, or anything like that. There is a power inside you that can think of itself in an endless number of ways without any help from anyone else. His mind made the whole universe. For example, the tree in front of your door and the whole universe are perfect ideas that came from God's mind. Being that God is all there is, no one could help him. Only God can make a tree. The Mexican had blind faith and thought he was praying to a virgin, but his subconscious still reacted. This is because your subconscious reacts whether the thing you believe in is true or false. Blind thinking will have an effect on your subconscious mind. It is possible to call on the intelligence and knowledge that lives in your subconscious mind to help you in times of trouble. Scientists, for example, have had their prayers answered many times when they couldn't find an answer any other way. Nikola Tesla, a brilliant electrical scientist who came up with some of the coolest inventions, said that when he had an idea for a new thing, he would build it in his mind, knowing that his subconscious mind would put it back together and show his conscious mind all the parts that were needed to make it real. By thinking about each change in silence, he fixed mistakes right away and was able to give the workers the perfect product that was in his mind. The answer to all of his ideas came from his subconscious. He would always say, "My apparatus works as I imagined it should. In 20 years, there hasn't been a single exception." In order to solve his problem, Frederick von Straten, a famous scientist, used his subconscious mind. He had been working hard for a long time to change the 6 carbon and 6 hydrogen atoms in the formula for benzene. He was always confused and couldn't figure out what was going on. He was so tired and worn out that he gave up and let his subconscious mind handle the request. Soon after, he was about to get on a London bus when his subconscious mind sent a quick flash of a snake biting its tail and spinning like a pinwheel to his conscious mind. It was this answer from his subconscious that gave him the long-sought answer about the benzene ring, which is a spiral rearrangement of atoms. Every high school student today knows how the benzene ring came to be. It was a flash of light that came from von Straten's subconscious. The same thing happened with a huge number of inventions. In the Bible it says, "I, the Lord, that is, your subconscious mind, will show myself to man in a vision and speak to man in a dream." When I use the term subconscious mind, I'm not referring to Freud's narrow view of the mind as a place where people hold back their sexual urges, feel frustrated, and have fears. Not at all. I'm talking about the father figure inside you that does everything. This mind is also known as the subconscious mind, the superconscious mind, or the supernormal mind. It can be called the Bra truth, spirit, or mind that knows no limits. Or, in a night vision, the Bible talks a lot about men having dreams, visions, revelations, and warnings while they sleep. There are 24 hours a day in your subconscious. It's your best friend. The Bible says that Joseph was right when he figured out what Pharaoh's dreams meant. The king praised, honored, and recognized him for how smart he was and how well he could predict the future by analyzing dreams. Scientists, scholars, mystics, and thinkers have been interested in dreams for a very long time. Dreams have been giving people answers to their biggest problems since the time of the Bible. Dream study and interpretation is something that people from all over the world have dedicated their lives to. Freud, Jung, Adler, and many other well-known psychologists and therapists have studied the signs that people see in their dreams. By explaining the meanings to patients' aware minds, they have freed them from fears, fixations, and other mental problems that were buried. You know that your dreams are images of what's going on in your subconscious mind. A lot of the time, your dreams are telling you about your problems and the bad things that can happen in your everyday life, as well as business, travel, and marriage. What you dream about is what's going on in your subconscious mind. They don't believe in fate. Your ideas and feelings are what make your future what it is. You can change anything in your subconscious mind. You can also see into the future if you know the rules of your mind. Because the law is subject to the greater, or your subconscious is subject to your conscious mind, you can fill it with God's truths and get rid of anything that isn't God. In biblical terms, this means that the husband takes over the wife. Because of a wrong understanding of the Bible, scholars have taken this seriously for thousands of years and kept women in slavery and as slaves. A woman from New York called me one time to say that her husband had told her before he left that he was going to take a lot of money from his safe and spend it in a foreign country to make more money. Soon after, he died, and when the bank safe was opened, there was no money inside. The bank had a record, though, that he had been to the safe 2 days before. There was no sign of any investment, and a close look at his desk didn't show any hints. It occurred to me that this widow should ask her subconscious mind for help. It is the only one who knows the answer and would show it to her in its own way. She said this in her prayer. My subconscious mind knows where my husband hid that money, and I accept the answer and implicitly believe that the solution will clearly come to my conscious mind. She thought about what these words meant in silence, knowing that they would be etched in her subconscious, and set off her response. In a very detailed dream, she saw a small black box on the wall of her husband's study, hidden behind a painting of Abraham Lincoln. It was being shown to her how to press a secret button that she couldn't see. She quickly went to the study and took down the picture of Lincoln when she woke up. When she hit the button that she had seen in her dream, a hole opened up that held the black box, which inside was $50,000 in cash. The gems of his subconscious were revealed to him. Through his many eyes, he showed her that she has a friend inside her who sees everything and knows how to make things clear. Like that person, you can do the same thing and let your subconscious mind work to answer your wishes. A young woman in San Francisco had the same dream 4 nights in a row. Her fiancé, who lived in Los Angeles, showed up to her in her dream. Suddenly, after he showed up, there was a very tall rock in the way that looked like it would be impossible to climb. She was very shocked, angry, and confused in the dream. When she woke up, she had a hard time with the problem and knew something was wrong, but not clear. It's important for dreams to match what the dreamer is aware of and feeling, so I asked her what the mountain meant to her. A dream that comes back to you over and over is also very important because it's your subconscious telling you to stop, look, and listen. She said that the mountain was an impossible problem for her to solve. I told her to talk to her fiancé about the dream to make sure there was nothing secret that hadn't been told to her and nothing sneaky that hadn't been shown to her. In order to see her fiancé, she took a plane to Los Angeles and was met at the airport. He told her he was gay after they had an honest talk. So that his very religious clients wouldn't think anything was wrong, he told her he wanted to marry her. What would have been a very bad shock for her would not have happened because of her dream. You can have the same or even more insight by looking at what's happening in the world right now in your dream. Yes, there are different kinds of dreams. We know that. Some dreams are caused by sexual frustration or denial, while others are caused by mental and emotional problems, body problems, fears, or social norms. There are a lot of dreams that happen over and over again, and can also mean that you can see things before they happen. Most of the time, your dream tells you exactly what to do. You can use the great power that is hidden inside you, your subconscious knowledge and wisdom. You can believe in God, not believe in God, or not believe in God at all. That being said, you don't need a faith to have this endless knowledge and understanding work for you. When you call on it, it will answer you in the same way that an atheist or an agnostic does. It doesn't care about people and is indifferent. I have already called it a subconscious mind, subjective mind, or the I am. You can call it a superior intelligence if you want. The point is that the infinite is inside you. It lives in the deepest parts of your being. It's also the law. We need to use it since it's there. You can sleep, and it will work. As the German saying goes, the night brings counsel. You know that your body doesn't sleep. While you sleep, your heart and all of your other important systems are working. There is no thought in your mind, and you are not thinking about the problems, battles, and strife of the day. 2/3 of your life is influenced by the time you spend sleeping, how you feel every night before you go to sleep. Before you go to sleep, tell yourself that you are incredibly great and that you are truly unique. If you have a problem, think about how to solve it. Say to yourself, "Infinite intelligence gives me the answer, and I accept it. It comes to me in divine order." This will correct the mistakes you made during the day and connect your thoughts to the supreme intelligence within you. In other words, as the ancient Hebrews put it, you share in the wisdom and knowledge of the gods when you are fast asleep, because healing currents are released when you are asleep. The Bible says, "He gives to his beloved in sleep. I lie down in peace to sleep, because the Lord makes me live in safety." Before business conferences, when very important decisions had to be made, Arthur Rohr, a great industrialist and business tycoon, and his associates would lie still and quiet, close their eyes, relax, and drift off. What do you think they were thinking about? Would they think about the infinite intelligence within them that knows the answers, knows what is best for the organization, and knows the right decisions, because there is nothing it doesn't know? Therefore, they would contemplate the right decision, the harmonious solution, the idea in the stillness of their own minds. In that state of stillness and relaxation, the wisdom of the subconscious rises to the conscious mind, because the conscious mind is in abeyance. This method always has wonderful results for Arthur and his associates. When they open their eyes, they know what decision to make, and it is always the right one, because when your motivation is right, your decision will be right. When your motivation is wrong, whatever you do will be wrong. So when you are asked to make a decision, ask yourself, what is my motivation? Connect with infinite intelligence when there are decisions and proposals to consider, with the faith that you are guided, directed, and that all answers are revealed to you. Robert Coleman, who used to be an usher here at the Wilshire Evil Theatre, now lives in Albuquerque, Mexico, and is familiar with the Indian healers there. He told me an interesting story earlier about a tribal member who was very sick, and the local medicine men couldn't do anything for him, so they brought in a special medicine man, and Robert said that when he came to see her, he had a pot of boiling water. The test of a healer is that he can put his hands in the boiling water for about 10 minutes without any swelling or burning, a sure sign that he is disciplined, trained, and has completed his apprenticeship. Robert said that the healer then put some blankets over the woman and chanted some Indian songs, i.e., their sacred prayers and incantations based on their tribal beliefs. The medicine man then lay down next to the woman, and as she fell asleep, he invoked the Great Spirit. When she awoke, he said, "The friend has cured her." Of course, he meant the Great Spirit, which is what his tribe called God. What did he mean by "the friend has cured her"? Well, he came, of course, believing and in a passive, calm state of mind. He began to sing, and the woman, receptive and open-minded, was healed. "According to your faith, it is done unto you. According to your faith, it shall be done unto you." The woman was open and receptive to the healer, who was full of faith and confidence in the vitality, intelligence, and miraculous healing power within her. Her faith communicated to her deepest state of mind, and she was healed. That is what we call prayer therapy or spiritual TR. It is simply dwelling on the infinite spirit and power that is within you. I am the Lord who heals you. I'm the Lord your God. I'll come help you. The Bible says, I will make you whole again and heal your wounds. All healing comes from the Most High. There is only one healing presence. And when you pray for someone, like this healer did, you don't think about their symptoms or physical condition. Instead, you think about the intelligence, wisdom, vitality, fullness, beauty, and perfection of the infinite that lives and sustains them. This brings the presence of God back to life in them, and they are healed. This is the beginning of all healing. I wrote about Dr. Els McCoy of Beverly Hills in my book, Psychic Perception. She taught all over the world and was engaged to a famous surgeon in Chicago, but they had to live far apart because of their jobs. When she was 18, she started saying to herself every day, "In my life, only divine right action takes place, and all that I need to know is instantly revealed to me by the infinite intelligence within me." These truths went into her subconscious mind, which responded. That night, while she slept soundly, she saw and heard her fiancé in Chicago talking to a nurse and going on a weekend date with her. He told the nurse, "You know, I'm engaged." "She's thousands of miles away and doesn't know anything about us," Dr. McCoy told her fiancé the next day. He laughed at her and told her she had hired detectives to spy on him. She broke off the engagement, and what happened next showed how wise his subconscious mind was in protecting her from what would have been a tragic marriage. Her positive thoughts activated her subconscious mind, which told her what she needed to know before she got married. It's an interesting story. The subjective mind tries to protect you if you pay attention to it. Some people ignore these things and say, "It was just a dream." Precognition or foreknowledge is seeing things before they happen, which lets you protect yourself. If you see something bad for yourself or someone else, prayer can change your mind. One girl, Louise Barrow, who is now Mrs. Watt since she married, gave me permission to write her story in my book, Psychic Perception. Louise was informed by her foot surgeon that an operation on her left foot was necessary to bring about a healing, and that this would require having her leg in a cast, as well as using crutches for 2 months or more. She prayed that the infinite intelligence of her subconscious would guide and direct her to make the right decision. Every night she addressed this request to her subconscious, and at the end of the 4th night, she saw a family friend chiropractor in a dream. He pointed out to her the 35th hexagram of the I Ching, which read, "Progress." The next day, she went to visit him, and upon examining the foot, he told her that he could achieve perfect alignment and adjustment through manipulations and exercises that she would have to practice. Perfect healing followed. That occurred in 1961, after I first gave a series of lectures on the first Ching in Southern California. The subconscious mind often speaks and reveals answers symbolically. Luis, after having taken 2 classes on the I Ching with me, became absorbed and engrossed with its scientific and metaphysical approach to life, and no doubt his subconscious knew he would follow the instructions of the hexagram. The subconscious always speaks to you in a voice or symbol that you will be able to follow and understand. It will not speak to you in the voice of someone you dislike or disapprove of. Literally to Luis, when he revealed to him that he should visit the chiropractor to heal his foot. There is only one being, and that power is within you. It is called the vital principle, all-powerful living spirit, and many other names. As Judge Troward, author of an inimitable textbook, says, "The quiet contemplation of your desires as an accomplished fact is the way to pray." The feeling of pleasure and tranquility in anticipating a certain realization of your desire is the way to obtain the answer to your prayer. The operation, says Troward, is that of the gardener. We don't put in self-expandables, so we put the seed in the ground, then water and fertilize it, knowing that it is going to expand and unfold in a wonderful way. Of course, it will expand in a wonderful way if you water it with faith, expectation, and understanding. In this way, wonders will begin to happen in your life. A thought is the most powerful force in the universe. Your word is a thought expressed. If you are in a position of authority, a thought or a word can direct how missiles, nuclear power, dynamite, or thermonuclear weapons are to be used. Your thoughts direct the workings of your life. Your subconscious mind can be compared to an iceberg. 90% of it is below the surface. It is your subconscious mind that does the work according to the orders given to it by your conscious mind. What you think with your conscious mind, you produce with your subconscious mind. There is a very interesting story about Dr. Arthur Thomas, a minister of the Church of Religious Science in Pasadena, California, before Reno, Nevada. He gave me permission to write his story in my book, Psychic Perception. Arthur had been a lieutenant in the British Navy at one time, and more recently had been in the wholesale business as well as in real estate in Los Angeles. However, about 10 years ago he started attending my lectures on Sunday mornings. He suddenly said, "I realized that my thinking was the only creative power I was aware of, and I was going to create what I really wanted." Consequently, he began to affirm to himself frequently, "I am a minister now. I am teaching the truths of life to people every night." He imagined he was expounding the great truths to a wonderful group of men and women in a church. He continued to think this way for a month or so when he decided to pursue the ministerial course at the Los Angeles Institute of Religious Science. He was confident of the end result, as he had already imagined, and felt the reality of what he pictured in his mind to be true. He passed all the tests and examinations in divine order and was offered the church immediately after finishing his seminary course. He is now doing exactly what he mentally decreed. He knew that his subconscious mind would respond mathematically and accurately according to his thought processes. Arthur's story is a perfect example of the meaning, "According to your faith, be it unto you." During a trip to Mexico a few years ago, I met a minister who had a pronounced facial tic that he found very aggravating and humiliating. He had received alcohol injections that were supposed to deaden or paralyze the nerve, but after a few months, the tic reappeared. The disorder would flare up when he spoke before his congregation or at other social gatherings. He had reached the point of considering resigning because of people's comments and his own sense of embarrassment. However, after a conversation, I commented to him that he had a deep sense that he was very hurt and had a guilt complex that he was unwilling to face, either subjectively or objectively. This tic affected his right eye, which possibly symbolized something he did not want to look at home or in the office. Was there a reason why his subconscious was selecting his face and right eye as a scapegoat? This situation needed her psychic perception to recognize how to deal with it. She freely admitted that she no longer believed in what she was teaching, which gave her a guilt complex. In addition, he was afraid to resign because he felt he would not be able to make a living outside the ministry. He deeply resented the members of his board who criticized him whenever he deviated from the orthodox teaching norm. All this nervous pressure was converted by his subconscious into a tic. The affliction morbidly compensated him for not having been honest and forthright, and admitting to his congregation that he no longer believed according to the guidelines and dogma of the church. He freely confessed all this to me, and I suggested that the following Sunday, when he returned from his vacation, he speak freely from the platform and tell his congregation that he was resigning since he no longer believed what he preached. He understood that teaching one thing and believing another created a powerful negative conflict in his mind that caused mental and physical disorders. He spoke from the depths of his heart to his congregation and then resigned in a letter he sent to me. He told me, "I felt a great relief and a great sense of peace came over me. My constant affirmation was, 'You will show me the way of life,' and one of my former board members gave me a position as personnel director of his organization, where I am happy." And he added, "What you said is true." Often the explanation is the cure. If you have a mental, physical, or emotional problem, ask yourself, what am I turning my back on? What is it that I don't want to face? Am I hiding my resentment and hostility towards someone? Face the problem and resolve it with psychic perception. I dissolved a most interesting conversation with an old friend whom I had met earlier in India. I will call him Harry. Harry has been practicing clairvoyance or astral excursions for many years. His daughter was studying in Honolulu and was very ill, near death. He was sent a telegram to Calcutta, and as soon as he received it, he adopted a yoga posture, closed his eyes, and put himself in a passive, calm, and receptive state of mind. He visualized his fourth dimension or astral body emerging through his head with all its faculties, and decreed with firmness, knowledge, and deep conviction, "I want to appear instantly before my daughter and attend to her." He repeated this command about 6 times, and then fell into a deep sleep. Immediately he found himself at his daughter's bedside. She was asleep, but woke up at once and exclaimed to him, "Daddy, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Help me." He laid his hands on her, intoned some religious phrases, and said, "You will get up in a few hours and get well." The healing was instantaneous. Immediately her fever broke, and she cried out to the nurse, "I am cured, I am cured." The nurse thought she was delirious, but the resident physician confirmed the silent, inner knowing of her soul and said that she was indeed perfectly well. However, they both laughed at the story of her father's visit from India. The nurse, puzzled and perplexed, said to the daughter, "How could your father or anyone else have come in from downstairs through the locked doors? I have seen no one enter your room." "My father visited me in the astral body, laid hands on me and prayed with me," she replied. The nurse replied, "I don't believe in ghosts, apparitions, or voodoo." The girl realized that further explanations would be useless. Harry said she was perfectly conscious all the time. Taking into account the distance between Calcutta and Honolulu and the time difference, he found that he had been absent from his physical body for only 10 minutes in total. Harry is a medical doctor and has tremendous faith in spiritual healing and is very familiar with the many schools of healing. He realized that his presence gave a tremendous transfusion of faith, confidence, and courage to his daughter, which permeated her subconscious mind. And according to his and his daughter's belief, it was done to her. The Bible says, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes." Mark 9:23. These are the wonders of the friend within you. It is the deepest mind, your subconscious mind, never short of ideas. There is in it an infinite number of ideas ready to flow into your conscious mind and appear as money in your pocket in countless ways. This process will continue in your mind regardless of whether the stock market goes up or down, or whether the pound sterling or the dollar loses value. Your wealth never depends on bonds, stocks, or money in the bank. These things are nothing more than symbols. They are necessary and useful, but only symbols. When you go to sleep at night, repeat to yourself again and again, "Wealth, success, wealth, success." Infinity cannot fail. Infinity is within you, and you were born to win. You are born to succeed. These 2 words activate the latent powers of your subconscious, and you are bound to succeed. You are bound to be rich. The point I wish to exercise is that if you convince your subconscious mind that wealth is always circulating in your life and there is always a surplus, you will always and inevitably have wealth, no matter what form it takes. There are people who claim that they are always trying to make ends meet. They seem to have great trouble meeting their obligations. Have you listened to their conversations? In many cases, their conversations constantly condemn those who have succeeded in life and have raised their heads above the crowd. Maybe they say, "Oh, that guy has a racket, he's a ruthless hustler." That's why they lack. They are condemning what they want and desire. The reason they speak critically of their more prosperous partners is because they are envious and greedy of the prosperity of others. The quickest way to make wealth take wings and fly away is to be envious, jealous, or critical of others who have more wealth than you. You can be sure that this thinking will impoverish you and bring more and more lack into your experience. There is an emotion that is the cause of lack of wealth in many people's lives. Most people learn this the hard way. It is envy. If you see a competitor depositing large sums of money in the bank and you only have a meager amount to deposit, you become envious. The form of this emotion is to say to yourself, "Isn't that wonderful? I am glad of that person's prosperity. I wish him greater and greater wealth." You are selfish when you do that, because what you are wishing for them, you are creating in your own mind, body, and experience. Having envious or jealous thoughts is devastating because it puts you in a very negative and destructive position. Wealth flows from you instead of to you. If you ever feel annoyed or irritated by someone else's prosperity, great wealth or success, immediately affirm that you really desire wealth and success in every way possible from them. This will neutralize the negative thoughts in your mind and cause an ever-increasing measure of wealth to flow to you by the law of your subconscious mind. If you are concerned and critical of someone who you claim is dishonestly making money, stop worrying about them. You know that person is using the law of mind negatively. The law of mind will take care of them. Your Bible tells you not to worry about evildoers or workers of injustice in Psalm 37, which is a great revelation. Remember, the blockage or obstacle to wealth is in your own mind. Now you can destroy that mental block. You can do this by getting on good mental terms with everyone, wishing for everyone what you wish for yourself. As you do this, wonders will begin to happen in your life. It is your right to be rich. You know that. You are here to lead an abundant life. You are here to be happy, radiant, and free. Therefore, you should have all the wealth you need to live a full, happy, and prosperous life. Of course you should. You are here to grow, expand, and develop spiritually, mentally, materially, and professionally. You have the inalienable right to develop and express yourself fully in every way. You should surround yourself with beauty and luxury. Why settle for just enough when you can enjoy the riches of your subconscious? Yes, make friends with money and you will always have plenty of it. Your desire to be rich is a desire for a fuller, happier, more wonderful life. It is a cosmic impulse. Money is not only good, but very good. It is a symbol and signifies not only freedom from want, but beauty, luxury, abundance, and refinement. It is a symbol of the economic health of the nation. When blood circulates freely through your body, you are healthy. When money circulates freely in your life, you are economically healthy. Engage your friend, the subconscious mind. It will give you all the wealth you need to do what you want to do, when you want to do it. When people start hoarding money and keeping it in tin boxes and getting loaded with fear, that is economic disease. Now, every night when you go to sleep, practice a very simple technique. Repeat the words, wealth, success, wealth, success. You know that wealth exists. Go out into the street or into the field. You can count the stars in the sky or the sands on the seashore. You were born to win and succeed. Infinity cannot fail. Infinity is within you. So wealth, success. Use these words quietly, with ease and feeling, over and over again, like a lullaby. Yes, you will be amazed at the results. Wealth will flow to you in avalanches of abundance. This is an example of the magical power of your subconscious mind. Affirmations. Here's what Dr. Joseph Murphy, what he has to say about promises. To accept something means to say that it is true, and you will get an answer to your prayer as long as you keep this attitude. even if there is evidence to the contrary. Since you are affirming the fact of something even when you deny it, your thoughts can only confirm it, saying a statement over and over. The mind falls into a state of awareness where it believes what you say is true when you know what you say and why you say it. Keep confirming those things about your life until your subconscious responds in a way that makes you happy. God is in charge of my life today and every day. Everything works together to help me and reward me. I'm having a great new day today. I am led by God all day, and everything I do will turn out well. I feel divine love all around me, wrapping around and unfolding me, and I move forward in peace. When my mind wanders from what is good and helpful, I quickly bring it back to thinking about what is beautiful and trustworthy. Second affirmation: I change myself into success, wealth, success, success, wealth, success. I love money so much. I use it in a smart, helpful and sensible way. In my life, money is always moving around. When I let go of it with joy, it comes back to me in amazing ways. It's good and really good. A lot of money comes to me all at once. I only use it for good, and I'm thankful for my good fortune and my mind's wealth. The endless wealth of my subconscious mind and I are one. I have the right to be wealthy, happy, and wise. Money comes to me easily, in large amounts, and forever. I am always aware of how much I am worth. I easily share my skills and am very fortunate with money. It looks great. I'm good with money and use it in a smart, useful, and sensible way. When I happily let go of it, it comes back to me 1,000 times over. Affirmation 3. The infinite intelligence that gave me this desire leads, guides, and shows me the best way for my desire to come true. I know that the inner knowledge of my subconscious is now reacting, and that what I say and feel inside shows up on the outside. Peace and balance are present. My subconscious mind gives me the power to do anything. I think that the power in my subconscious that made me want this is now making it happen through me. Happiness, joy, and cheer are becoming normal states of mind for me. Every day, I better understand and be more kind. I am now making everyone around me happy and kind. Being this way is now my normal state, and I am so grateful. The fourth affirmation is that God is complete peace. Joy has no limits in God. Love has no limits for God. God is complete, beautiful, and whole. God is the same today, yesterday, and always. I know and name the endless power and force that is inside me. I claim balance, beauty, love, happiness, action, law, and order from God. I am being led by God. I am perfectly whole. I am filled with the beauty of God. I am filled with all the beauty of God. I can't be moved by a stranger. I get through all of my problems and irritations. I will be successful. Peace is mine. Lots of things are mine. God said that everything was okay. Everything I eat or drink changes into something beautiful, ordered, symmetrical, and in the right amount. I'm as healthy and whole as the bread of heaven, and the wine of joy flows through my body. Well-being, beauty, order, and peace are what I see. It's wonderful. The best always comes to me because I am led by God and live in happy hope of the best. Affirmation 5. I forgive everyone who has ever hurt me. I hope everyone is healthy, happy, at peace, and has all the good things in life. I do this freely, with joy, and with love. And no matter what I think about the person or people who hurt me, I tell them, I set you free, and all the good things in life are yours. You and I are both free. It looks great.